Greetings everyone, my name is Nataniel Frazier, and I just would like to tell you a little bit about my book called The Revelation of Why. Now, what inspired me to create this book was I was going through some situations at the time when I was working at the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, and I was a liaison for them. And at the time, my ex-wife at the time, she was going through some issues with her child because he was murdered. So, and I was being on the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, I couldn't interfere with that investigation. So I had to figure out a way to work through this. And what I did is I had to take some time and pray over this issue because it wound up causing a lot of praying, a lot of communication problems. So I had to ask, and I had to ask for prayer. When I did, when I asked for prayer, I received it. And when I received those answers, it was nothing short of amazing. What happened is, not only did he give me the answers that I was looking for to communicate with my ex-wife, but it gave me the answers to communicate with anyone who was struggling with being able to communicate with others. And also, I had a sincere desire to get it into the prison system, because I was working there as a deputy anyway. So I wanted to get that communication going between the deputies and the inmates and everyone who was dealing with what I call mental combat. Mental combat is an extremely serious issue. Now, getting back to that serious issue, I'm trying to tell you, you really got to understand this. When it comes to having serious issues mentally, not just our country, our nation, but the whole world has this issue. And when I was able to get that information, I guess kind of beamed down, one could say beamed up Scotty or beamed down, it was awesome. And I mean, I was just saying to myself, look, if I'm going to receive this type of information, I can't hold it to myself. I got to let the world get this. Everybody else has to get a piece of this action. So what basically happened is, when I was praying and this stuff was being downloaded to me, I came to the conclusion, I said, well, look, in order to be able to communicate with someone, given the fact that David Keesley, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, he is an internationally known psychiatrist. And David Keesley sorter is extremely important. This breaks down the 4 different temperaments that make up the whole world. You have the artisans, they're like 30 to 35% that make up that population. You have the guardians, they make up 45%. You have the idealists, they make up 20 to 25% of the population. But then you also have rationalists, they make up 5 to 10% of the population. Well, the idealists and the the idealists and the rationalists, those are abstract-minded people. The artisans and the guardians, they're concrete-minded people. Well, when you're dealing with those types of mindsets, there's always going to be a clash. A concrete mind trying to get through to an abstract mind is always going to be an issue. So, taking that into consideration, I created a chart, an accountability chart within my book. And that's where you find the common ground between what I call the concrete-minded thinking people and the abstract-minded thinking people. And when you put those two together, once you find that common ground, then you can be able to come across with each other and be able to reach each other. Now, if you can't find that common ground, there's always going to be issues. But the best way to do it, like I said, is to create the common ground. Now, with my chart, what you first want to do is you want to write down a list of negative character weaknesses. Now, just to give you an example, a visual aid that I created, it starts off with seeing what I call mental combat going on in the mind. Now, it doesn't make a difference who it is or what it is or whatever race it is. But in that mindset, everybody goes through these issues. And to give you an example of what I'm talking about, here it is. Right now, it starts off with level 1. This is called the ENCW. This is the esoteric negative character weakness. This is the first phase. Esoteric means hidden. So these are things that you're not going to admit to. The second phase is the regular negative character weakness. These are, we're getting back to it as an example of an esoteric negative character weakness phrase. It would be resentment, unloving, corrupt mind. These aren't things that you're just going to admit to people. The regular negative character weakness is like anger, hate, frustration. The negative character weakness phrase, this here is where you grow up and you'll say, you don't tell me what to do, I do what I want to do. And the esoteric Catholic phrase, this one is an extreme phase, meaning I'm going to have sex at any cost. I'm going to kill at any cost. These are usually ones that set a pact into an agreement to do whatever it is that they agreed to do. But this is an example of the mental combat that's going on in the mind that's fighting for a date with desire. Now next, I have what you call the different phases that I just mentioned. This here, the different phases chart, this explains, this is the first level, the esoteric negative character weakness phrase that I mentioned. Resentment, defiance, unloving, correction, short fuse, corrupt mind, fault finding, rebellion, control power. These are issues that people aren't going to openly admit to. You have your regular second level, which is the regular negative character weakness phrase list. Hatred, pride, lust, pornography, lack of trust, lying, frustration, hurt, and boredom. Here's your third level negative character weakness phrase list. I'm going to get you before you get me. I don't have to take nothing from anybody. You can't teach me anything. And also here's your fourth level esoteric Catholic phrases list. I desire to have sex at any cost. I desire to be rich and famous at any cost. I desire to kill at any cost. And so forth and so on. So you get the example of what I'm talking about. Now, in order to combat this, I created a positive reactions chart. You have to create a positive response list. Now, like I was telling you earlier about the artisans, guardians, the rationalists, and idealists, they have to create their own thought process that they put on this chart. And as an example, for one of the positive responses, it says to envision an angel observing your behavior. One might say prayer. One might say returning a positive response to a negative insult. One might say support my mother today, and so forth and so on. Another positive character trait would be love, compassion, control, healing. Another one would be the list of compliments that you can use is, I appreciate you though. The though part comes in where you appreciate that person though, meaning even though you go through the stress and the foolishness that you deal with from others, I still appreciate you though. And that'll make you feel good when somebody tells you that, especially when you're working in a very stressful environment. But you're amazing, fascinating. Now, here I have a fun mental response list. This is for people who are sarcastic. These people like to be kind of smart, you know what I mean? But if whoever it is that you're challenging knows what they're about to say, then they won't take it negatively. They won't take it to heart. And as an example of what I'm talking about, they might say, I bet you gave a teacher a block of instruction on how to work his or her nerves. Or, I bet you get the same feeling that you get when you're sitting on a tack when you don't get to work my nerves. Or does it ever frustrate you knowing that you have the talent to work my nerves and don't get paid for it? And these are just some examples of what you can do. Now, before you even do this, you have to come up with a challenge. So once the two are challenged, you agree. Once you two agree, that's when you wind up implementing these things on this chart. And the next thing I have is my accountability chart. Now, like I said, once you came up, the male might say, as an example, if it's a male and a female, y'all boyfriend girlfriend relationship, or male female female, it doesn't really make a difference. You can say, well, look, okay, what I want you to do is I want more time. I want you to give me more quality time going out to the store or wherever I go to, and I don't want no negative feedback. So that might be what A person says. But B person might say, well, okay, well, I want you to go to the game with me, and I want you to cheer the team on with me that's winning on my team, you know, and I want you to be into it. But that's your challenge. So what you do is you're wanting to create an accountability chart. You want to create a start time, a day of the week, an end time, a date, and these are just examples of esoteric negative character weakness, regular negative character weakness. These are the abbreviations for what they are here. And right here, for say Monday, might be the first day. This abbreviation for esoteric negative character weakness starts off with number 17. So since that's a hidden one, it's esoteric, it might be resentment. This is Monday. You could look on his chart or her chart and see that, okay, they're working on resentment. You don't have to ask them. You can see where their head's at. That artisan or that guardian's mindset is working on resentment from whatever issue that it came from, whether it be from childhood or wherever it came from. But that's what they're working on. Well, okay, to combat that, they look on their positive response list and say they picked number one. Number one might have been, as an example, envisioning an angel. Okay, well, that didn't work. It wasn't strong enough. So they got a negative point because they're still struggling with that. Even though they're trying to envision that angel, for whatever reason, something just distracts them and they can't concentrate. So they choose number 3 from the positive response list. And it doesn't make a difference whichever list that you choose from your positive response list. But you get that one, you get points for these. And you chose, this person as an example, chose number 5 and number 3 and number 1. Well, because they handled the first one negatively, they only received 2 positive points. And you have to subtract that from the negative point. In day 2, which is Tuesday, they chose number 5. Number 5 was a regular negative character weakness. They might have dealt with hatred. They were struggling with that hatred issue. So they chose number 2. Number 2 was prayer. Okay? Prayer didn't work too well. So they handled it negatively. So they got to subtract the point. Number 4 is I'm supporting my mom. So this one helped them because they decided to listen to what their parents said. And it doesn't make a difference what the age is. They decided to take that wisdom from the older person and say, you know what, I respect that and I'm going to take that. So basically you put those together, you subtract the negative from the positive, and you come up with your total of 6 at the end of the week. And over here is the exact same thing, but this is for the positive side. The positive side, this person has a number 20. This person might be too gullible. So this is the person who's too nice. And they're working on their being too gullible. So they choose number 2 to help them out with that. They didn't take it negatively, but they wanted more support, so they chose number 4, and they got 2 positive points for that. And the rest of the week it was the same way. When they took the advice from, say, the father or whoever, whatever wise person, they wound up getting 2 points. And in this case, this was, say, a number 2. It could have been an angel. It could have been whatever's on your list. But you got 2 points for it. At the end of the week, they got 9 total. You add the 9 plus the 6, you got a total of 15. Now, this is only if you're choosing to use the positive side and the negative side. Most of the time, really, you only need to use one side. Unless you get really advanced in this thing and you've been doing it a while, then you can use both sides. But basically, that's the accountability chart in a nutshell. And that's how you can find the common ground between the two. Because when that artisan and that guardian, as an example, if an artisan or guardian says, look, I'm trying to get through to you. I want to reach you. But how can I do that? Once they look on that chart, what's going to happen is they're going to say, well, look, I can reach you. I know what I need to do. I'm going to look on your chart and I'm going to see that this idealist who I'm challenging, since they're abstract and I'm concrete, I see that they like angels. So I look on that chart and I create, and I say to myself that I'm going to create a sentence that says, I want you to do me a favor. The next time you're stressing and you're going through, think of that angel that you envisioned in your mind that's abstract, and I want you to describe it to me the next time you see me. And I want you to tell me how well that angel helped you go through what you went through. Well, that abstract person, that idealist, is going to really appreciate that. And the vice versa for this concrete person who's a guardian, that idealist person can look on their chart and say, well, okay, I understand. I can reach him. What I need to do is this. I need to look on that person's chart and see that they like so strong. And when you appreciate that person likes to hear terminology or trigger words like that, strong and mighty, or you're doing such a good job, strong work, what you do is that idealist person can create a sentence and to give them encouragement and say, well, hey, the next time you're going through, I just want to let you know I really appreciate that strong work that you did. And what you do is you put your fist up there, make it strong, make it mighty. Let that strong person know that you have inspiration and you have power behind what you're saying, and they'll believe what you're saying. They're going to feel what you're saying, and it's going to be so much sincere. Even though we are using a book as a guideline, don't worry about the book, because when they see your emotions that are equalizing what you're saying, then they're going to really feel it and believe it. And it's so important. This is one of the reasons why we have such an impasse with the Republicans and the Democrats. You have a serious situation going on here with the mindsets, and the temperaments, and people need to understand that. Now, I understand that it's difficult for people to really get through and to believe what I'm saying, but trust me, if you take that Kearsley, do some research, take the Kearsley sorter questionnaire, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a serious difference between the artisans, the guardians, the rationalists, and the idealists. It's extremely important. Get my book today, and I guarantee you, if you really want some common ground with a challenge, you're trying to get somebody, it will help you. It will also enhance your relationship where there's trust issues. If you had an issue where you raised your child and your child is acting out and doing whatever, it doesn't matter. Challenge your child when he's gotten older and see if y'all can find that common ground with the accountability chart. I'm trying to tell you, if you do that, he will appreciate you, because he will say to himself, look, I see that my parent may have slipped up, but now my parent is giving me that opportunity to see where that parent's head is at, and he or she can see where your head is at. The reciprocation can be sincere. The trust can be built. The wall might take a little bit of time, but it will be built if you work hard enough and you work long enough and you want it. You have to want it to receive it. So take yourself, do these things. Nothing is easy in life. If it's given to you, you don't need that. Remember, you must work and you must work hard. That's what they tell you. And if you do that, I guarantee you, it'll be worth it in the end. You might have to sweat, you might have to work hard at it, but once it's done and that commitment is sincere, you're going to thank me. Now, what I want to do is hopefully we can work together. We can get some. This is what I love to do. I love to get a sociologist, psychiatrist, and an educator, on a global level. We put a team together with an app, people who create apps, and we can globally have put it in the educational system for our children, so that hopefully they'll be able to be graded on these things, and they can be able to problem solve on their own. And if they can problem solve on their own, trust me, when they get up and they get out there in the world, it'll make life a whole lot more easier on you and us, and for the foreseeable future. Because we don't want to have people that are having issues with problem solving that are in these high places. We have to have people that can problem solve and be able to handle issues no matter what they are. First, handle their own personal issues. Personal issues are extremely important. You can't help me if you can't help yourself. So you have to deal with home first. Take care of that home, that mindset first, and then you can deal with these other issues. And trust me, you'll appreciate that you had that book called The Revelation of Why. Now, Revelation Why Education is my next book, and it's going to be extremely deep. That's where I go a lot deeper, talking about the artisans, guardians, and I get into a lot of other things, talking about the law of opposites, deal with combat, talk about a lot of things. So I just want to get you prepared for that, and I really want to thank you for listening to me, and I want to also let Maple Leaf Publishing understand that I really appreciate this opportunity, and I thank you and bless you. You all enjoy yourselves here at the Toronto Book Festival, and I just want to say thank you and have a great, wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you.